So in that season, you were an alcoholic, you describe, or
Yeah, I mean,
an addict?
Some people wouldn't see it as an alcoholic, but I think any unhealthy level with alcohol can be described as an alcoholic. When I went to rehab, I got to see some real alcoholics and get to experience what that was like. And I think it was more of a wake up call because, when I went to rehab, it was a bougie rehab. It wasn't like I was locked in a cage or anything, but, I show up and, the first night, I had bad sleep because I didn't drink to go to sleep. So I got maybe a couple hours of sleep. And, I woke up and I got to get breakfast and the nurse comes in and she's like, do you need medication? I'm like, for what? And she's like, well, your withdrawal symptoms. And I was like, withdrawal symptoms? What are you talking about? And they were used to having people come in who are constantly on the clock drinking.
Yeah.
And they have to monitor you because you could die if your body is used to nonstop alcohol. I just use it for sleep. So I was like, oh no, like I'm not throwing up or anything. I'm just a little sleep deprived right now, They're like, oh. And so, but then like, seeing people, like you'd hear people like violently vomiting in the middle of the night, or they come into rehab and they're super happy and playful. And I didn't realize, oh, they're drunk still.
Right.
They chugged, they did a fifth before coming through the gate as their last hurrah.
100%.
And then now they're throwing up violently, shaking, fever. Right. I was like, oh shit. Like, I'm glad I dodged that, but I'm not that far away from that. Like if this progresses, it could get to that point. Yeah. And so, if I go to AA meetings, I think speaking life over yourself is important. So I don't say my name is Brian, I'm an alcoholic. My name is Brian and I struggle with alcohol. Yeah. And, it's semantics, whatever, but it's.
What was some of the low points that got you to where you're like, I think I need to do rehab?
I tried quitting multiple times and I could go 30 days without drinking, but then it was like my health is still shit. My sleep is still shit. My life doesn't feel any better. Life hasn't dramatically improved with not drinking for 30 days. So whatever, I'm going to drink. And so, but what I did start to notice were patterns, and all of the bad stuff that was happening in my life was related to alcohol. So, if you like, whether it was relationship with women or it was, saying something stupid at a party or, making a promise when you're really drunk and getting people excited and then you don't deliver. So, and then, not being able to show up in the mornings really well and lead well, not being able to do the work that I needed to do to set Adventure Challenge up for more success. And so those are some things that were like, man, if alcohol wasn't a factor, like all of these things could be different. And then there were some opportunities that cost our company a lot of money where, I remember like QVC wanted to have me on to do a special. This is
rough. I remember this.
Yeah, and so I went through like a month of training they send you through where you do practice pitches. And for those of you who don't know, QVC is like a shopping channel. Millennials might know what it is, but Gen Zers probably don't. And where it's like a live shopping channel where you're live talking about your product with a host. And, Lori Granger from Shark Tank, she's like the queen of QVC. So I did all this training for it. And then they were like, hey, your slot's at 8:00 in the morning. And I was like, shit, like 8:00. I am still so hungover by 8:00. I can't do 8:00. And if I don't drink, I'm not sleeping. And if I don't sleep, I'm going to throw up. And I'm going on live television. And so it was so bad. I was like, okay, I'm not drinking anything. I'm just going to go to sleep. So I took some Benadryl, tried to sleep, couldn't, decided maybe I'll take a gummy to help go to sleep, THC gummy. Spiraled into a vicious panic attack that didn't end until 7:00. And that's when the whole camera crew showed up at my house. And I'm like in my bedroom, I lock the door, call Giselle, my assistant, and I'm like, tell them I can't make it. And this was months of planning.
Yes.
The team
months of preparation
worked really hard to get me on the show, to pitch this product, to make, $300,000, $500,000.
Sure.
And I just had to bail. And it was like, I tried so hard to just not drink to go to sleep. And that's when I remember seeing the disappointment from some of the leaders on my team. And just be like, yeah, well, all right, cool. He called in sick last minute. And I was just like, I'm done. I can't. I got to figure out a way to get rid of this, to fix my sleep, and I got to get out of Reading for a while.
Yeah.
I got to get out of the pressure of the employees and, you know, revenue and the business, and I just need to like find a way to sleep without drinking alcohol.
Totally.
So then I checked into a rehab in Maui and went there, and then that like kind of catalyzed my journey to sobriety, which I think when I was 27, I think the girl I was dating at the time, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it to 30. Like, if this keeps continuing, like, I don't know if I can not kill myself.
Yeah.
Because this just sucks.
Totally.
And, you know, I think deep down, I actually believe, like, I don't know if I'll make it to 30. So I'm 31 now, and I'm still alive.
Yeah, you did it.
Plot
Praise
twist.
God. Yeah.
When you tell the story, this is just a side note about QVC and stuff like that. Do you find yourself connected to compassion over like what you're experiencing in that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel regret from it.
Sure.
Yeah, and I don't feel like nobody was there to really walk me through what was happening necessarily, or even like even with you guys never struggled with alcohol or anything. And so even my 30 days, like I've gone 30 days without alcohol and my body is still going to crap. Like, so it can't just be the alcohol. It has to be all these other things. And it wasn't until years later till I realized, no, alcohol actually, you kind of need it out of your system for like 4 months, 5 months before you start to really notice any benefits, which sucks because I have a lot of friends who are like, oh, I'm doing, you know, dry January.
Totally.
And you're like, yeah, you're just going to realize how much you love alcohol. Like, you're just going to realize how amazing it is because for 30 days, you're going to be suppressed from connecting to your community, doing fun things you like, getting, you know, what you call good sleep, even though it's horrible REM sleep, and feeling good and relieving stress after a day of work.
Right.
So you're going to go into February probably even more addicted to alcohol than if you wouldn't have taken that 30-day break.
Absolutely.
And so it's like you have to really understand what alcohol is doing at the root and decide to go on that journey before you just jump in like a 30-day like challenge or something.
Well,
So
the reason I said that is as you were retelling the story, I could feel this immense wave of compassion inside of me because I remember the phone calls that we were having during that time. And I was just like, man, empathetically being inside of your shoes, the panic, the worry, all of that stuff, like I can imagine what it'd be like. And I think that the reason I'm addressing that is a lot of people, when they think about some of their low points in life, they don't actually visit it with compassion. They're like, oh, what the F was wrong with me? You know, I'm stupid for that. I can't believe I did that. And like stories like this, I'm just like, wow, it makes sense that you could get there, why you would get there, and how that would be so difficult. You know, I was thinking about the people, when you talked about other leaders, like having to face other people that you failed. And I know that a lot of people that have battled sobriety and just all kinds of messiness in their life, having to face people that we've hurt or we've failed is a really difficult one to overcome inside of ourselves. And so I think my hope is that people, when they hear a story like that, they would think about their own with kindness, you know, their own dark moments with kindness. Because that's one of multiple that were really hard for you, right?
yeah, no, I appreciate that.